The Florida Gators have landed a commitment from South Carolina linebacker Grayson Howard in the transfer portal. We're going to talk about that here on Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another bonus episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. And like I mentioned at the end of this morning's episode that, hey, we might be going live at some point today. I was like, oh, we'll see you tomorrow, maybe earlier. And that is the case, that we will be seeing you earlier because Grayson Howard has committed to the Florida Gators out of South Carolina, out of the transfer portal. And this is a absolutely massive ad because we talked about this on, I think it was Monday's show, where Florida lost Scooby Williams to the transfer portal. And I get it. Scooby Williams was not a great off-ball linebacker. He was better suited for the edge, in my opinion. But he's playing off-ball linebacker. Wasn't great there. Was still one of your best options, if not the second best option behind Shamar James at linebacker. And now, not only do you replace Scooby Williams, I think you upgraded. Or not even think. I know you upgraded there at linebacker. And that's not a knock on Scooby in any way, shape, or form. I just think Howard's really promising. I don't want to say he's really good, but he's really promising and has the potential to genuinely be pretty damn good for the Florida Gators. He was a 2023 recruit that was deciding between Florida, South Carolina, and I think it was Georgia was in the mix as well. Also, I see notifications out of the corner of my eye popping up in the chat. As always, we'll get to that in the second half of this live show. But Grayson Howard was deciding between Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, ended up at South Carolina for a year, and then is now a Florida Gator there. But, I mean, this is a huge ad for Florida because we talked about, I think it was on the Tuesday or Wednesday show, about how adding someone like Joey Slackman to your defensive line improves the rest of your defensive line play and especially helps the linebackers. Here, Florida not only added Joey Slackman to their defensive line to improve their linebacker play, they added Grayson Howard to improve their linebacker play. So the defensive line in front of you, yep, that's going to help clear things up. You know what helps? What else helps clear things up? Adding better football players. So when you have Grayson Howard and Shamar James now, you're looking at a pretty damn good starting linebacker duo. Grayson did not start, or I don't know what we're going to call him here, but Howard did not start at South Carolina, but he did rotate consistently. It wasn't just like, oh, we're in a blowout, get some reps in. It was that he played consistently between about 15 to 30 reps a game on defense only, special teams, of course. But I personally like how he's going to fit in. I do think that he's a big upgrade right away. I'm curious to see if I would think that he plays more middle and Shamar plays the weak side linebacker there. But this is a huge addition for the Florida Gators defense that desperately needs help. Like, that's an important part too. It's not just, oh, you added a good player. It's you added a good player at was maybe your worst position on defense between corner and linebacker. But you added an immediate impact player, an immediate starter to that second level that you desperately needed in Gainesville. And so adding Grayson Howard is huge, where I will say it's also kind of funny that, you know, Jay Bateman leaves, there's a huge thing. And then they're like, all right, now Grayson Howard's going to come here, which can be telling in and of itself. But having Grayson here is just going to be wild. He's just another guy that I don't think he's an elite linebacker. I do think he's one of the best linebackers in the portal. I do think he's better than Florida's current linebacker situation. And I mean, he's just one of those guys that is just so like hair on fire. Hair on fire, coming downhill, physical as all hell. And I'm very much looking forward to watching how this new, specifically, I don't know, this isn't the sexy part of football, but I'm very much looking forward to see how this run defense works. Because now you've got Shamar was decent at defending the run. He just wasn't great at shedding blocks. But now you've got Cam Jackson and Joey Slackman in front of them. So you've immediately improved just keeping them clean. And then you add someone as aggressive as Grayson Howard with Shamar James. And it's like, all right, you're hopefully going to be able to actually stop the run. Like Kentucky shouldn't run for 6,000 yards on you this upcoming season. But for Florida, and I realize that when we look at the end of the recruiting cycle for high school, things were not feeling great. You lost Amaris Williams. You lost Jamonte Waller about a month before that. You lost Xavier Filsaime a couple of days before early signing day. You lost Darius Hayes on signing day. You lost Isaiah Williams on signing day. It was a bunch, and LJ McCray pushed back his signing and then eventually signed with you. But it was just an avalanche of like bad news hitting that week. And we were telling you here, and if you're part of the Locked On Subtext group, you've known some of these things. If you're not, it's joinsubtext.com/LockedOnGators. But it's 2 weeks free, $5 a month, whatever. But you've known that Florida's going to be really active in this second window. That they've been, or in the window following the close of the early signing period for high school recruiting is when they're really going to clear things up, when they were going to hit the portal hard in January. We've seen a lot of guys on campus. Wouldn't shock me if we saw another commit, maybe even this weekend or just coming up. But for Florida, you've immediately improved your linebacker room. Hell, you've flipped it completely. You look at Shamar James coming back and healthy after his surgery. You look at Pup Howard. You look at Miles Graham, Aaron Childs coming back. You've still got Manny Nunnery. You've got Jaden Robinson in year 2. You're looking at a linebacker room that is not going to be, I'm not going to say it's the strength of the team, but it was bad looking in 2023. And now for 2024, you've got a lot of promise in there. You've got a lot of positive things that are going to be coming from this linebacker room. That's going to be huge. Again, I think it sucked when you lost Scooby Williams because he wasn't great. He was your best linebacker outside of Shamar. He was your best healthy linebacker. And then you upgraded that spot. Yeah, he wasn't great, but he was the best we got. And then you went, all right, then guess what? We're just going to get better. Like that's how we're going to approach these things. We're just going to get better at playing linebacker. We're going to get better at playing football in general. But Pup Howard's someone that I do think can contribute early on. I think South Carolina mixed around with a lot of man coverage. And I think that with Grayson Howard, that opens up playing some more man coverage. Not that that's his forte. He's certainly not he's not like Fred Warner in coverage, but he's capable of making plays. And so I think that it further points to, based on what Florida's been doing in the transfer portal, who they've been looking at in the transfer portal, who they've added in high school recruiting this year, I think it further points to they want to play more man coverage. I think Grayson Howard's experience there helps that. I do think that he could still play that underneath hook zone that he's going to have to play, and could probably even slide out to the flat when we talk about playing quarters and cover 3. I do think he's capable of doing all of those things. So adding Pup is huge. And like Scott Perry, I see your message of, I'm super critical of Napier, but this is a big get. It's a damn big get here. Like linebacker play killed you. You win against Missouri with better linebacker play. You maybe win against Kentucky with better linebacker play, because again, if you have better linebacker play, then guess what? They're not running for 1,000 yards on you. I'm just gonna keep bumping the number up and just keep throwing random numbers at you there. But you win that game with better linebacker play, or you maybe win that game with better linebacker play because your offense didn't show up a ton either against Kentucky. But you look at the games that you lost. Arkansas, you win with better linebacker play because KJ Jefferson doesn't just truck through everybody. So you win Missouri, you win Arkansas. Hell, you probably win Florida State. That's a complete swing. That's going from 5 wins to 8 wins with better linebacker play. And I'm not saying that Pup Howard is going to make you win those games. I'm saying better linebacker play would have won you those games. And that better linebacker play is what you're getting with Pup Howard. So I do think that you improve drastically. Obviously, it doesn't mean you score more against Kentucky, but you slow Kentucky down. It doesn't mean you score more against Utah, but you slow Utah down. It doesn't mean that you score more against Arkansas, but it does mean that Arkansas scores less, and that's all you needed because you lost by 3. Missouri, you lost by 2. You slow them down. You don't give up that 4th and 17. You've improved your linebacker room. You've improved your defense. You've improved your defensive line by adding Joey Slackman. And again, like I've mentioned, Joey Slackman's presence will improve your linebacker play. So you've doubly attacked that position now of you've improved your defensive line. That's going to improve your linebacker play. And you've straight up improved who's in your linebacker room to improve linebacker play. We're going to hit the chat in the second half of this live show. If you have any questions, anything you want me to get to, just go ahead and throw it in there and we'll get to it eventually. But first, we do have to get a quick word from our sponsors. Today's episode of Locked On Gators, today's bonus episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by Game Time. And I know the bowl season's wrapped up, but NBA season is here. Just saying, NBA season's here. MLB season's right around the corner. NFL playoffs are coming up, and you don't really know if your team's hosting or not, or if there's going to be a game in your area until last minute. And Game Time is the place to get last minute ticket deals. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Yeah. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Today's bonus episode of Locked On Gators is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is wrapping up now. Still time to get in on the action. NBA was a killer for me last night. Oh my God. Cade Cunningham, Laurie Markkinen. Give yourself a round of applause. That is beautiful. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Don't even have to win it. Don't even have to win it. Place $5, you get $150 in bonus bets, whether you win or lose. You can go with same day parlays. Their boosts are incredible. They've been on fire. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. And remember that FanDuel is an official partner of the NFL. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day, we are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast. And like I mentioned, if you want to go in the chat and say anything, go ahead. We'll get to that in just a second. But I did just want to talk about Pup Howard for one more second because Grayson Howard did not start for the South Carolina Gamecocks in 2023 in his freshman year. I look at Pup Howard because I know that I've spent a lot of time saying, hey, you grab Power 5 starters or you grab Group of 5 starters that are looking to take the next step, or not even Group of 5, just non-Power 5 starters to take the next step up. And those are the guys you want in the portal, not Power 5 backups. However, this is a different case, similar to how I felt about Keontae Goodwin coming over from Kentucky last year, which I know he never played for Florida. But similar to how I felt for that, where if it's after your first season, your true freshman season, and I chalk it up not as, oh, you're adding a Power 5 backup. I look at it as an extension of the high school class, like there. I know technically the transfer portal is just an extension of the high school class. But if a guy finished his first year in college and then transfers and comes to Florida, I don't look at it as, oh my God, you're adding a Power 5 backup, because he hasn't been a backup for 2 or 3 years struggling to crack the lineup. He's a true freshman playing at linebacker. So for Florida, I don't look at it as, oh, you added a Power 5 backup. I look at it as you just added an extension of your high school class. And so for me, that's why I don't care if Pop was a backup last year as a true freshman. That's not something for me that I'm really looking at as a negative here. But we're going to get into the chat. I just wanted to get that one out there because I know that I've spent a lot of time saying, oh, you want Power 5 starters, Group of 5 starters, and take the step up. This is one of those like outliers. It's an exception. It's a guy who just finished a true freshman year as a contributor, not a starter, but as a contributor at a spot where linebackers don't play too much as true freshmen in the SEC. So adding Pup Howard there is a big win for me. What's up, Parth? I see you out here. You got Chomp Chomp Baby from Facts Don't Care. Justin Goodwin said, let's get it. Chomp Chomp. Chomp Chomp. Huge acquisition for Napier. The linebacker room looks like an SEC quality group. It does. Now it does. Now it genuinely looks like an SEC quality group. And that's huge. It seems that recruiting really should be ranked only after the different transfer portal period ends the whole time. See, yeah, Frankie, if you look at like 24/7, you see what the class changes with as the transfer portal grows. But everyone just looks at the early signing period class and goes, oh, that's it. That's all I care about. But it does change as transfer portal kids add. I also think that transfer portal evaluation is horrible. I genuinely think they just look at what their high school evaluation was. They look at if they started or made big plays in this year, and that was it. They don't look at actual quality of play. They don't watch the actual film. They just go, what did we have him as in high school? What were his stats in college? That's what we're going to rate him as. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Replacement for Scoop, got to say it's an upgrade. And Young, absolutely. Gator Gang for life. Absolutely. Scott, we talked about that. Harrison, what's up? We did get Pup. Grayson got that dog in him. Get it, Ryan. Dog, Pup. I see it. I do love a good pun. I do love a good pun there. Why in the heck are Weston, Humphreys, Pouncey not pushed into the portal? I don't know, man. I don't make the rules. I just evaluate. Probably want to graduate first spring. Maybe. Don't even have a linebacker coach. Yeah, MJ. Don't even have a linebacker coach, and that's what we got. I see him saying video lagging badly. I hope not. It looks clean on my end, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know if that's going to be a thing that I'll see. I don't know about linebacker coach. Who's the next ideal addition? Honestly, there's a bunch of guys there. There's a bunch of players that I can look at as if they're Florida Gators, I'll be happy. Cassius Howell has had positive things to say about the Gator visit already. Hopefully they can lock him in. Like I think you need to address the edge spot. Any of the DBs really that were on campus, like anybody that was on campus, this is going to sound rude. Anybody that was on campus besides Devin Manuel is someone that I'm like, oh, that's a huge add. Just because Devin Manuel's more of a higher risk addition, I want to say. He's didn't start the year. He ended the year as a starter when he was thrown in there, and he played well in those reps, but there's very limited time. It's like, why couldn't you crack the rotation for a bit? So there's that. But I'd be stoked about most of the guys, really. Graham and Childs learning great depth behind Pup and James. Absolutely. I've said this before, and I will continue to say this. Miles Graham and Aaron Childs, I don't know how much they contribute in year one, and it's not an indictment of them at all. It's just really freaking hard to play linebacker as a true freshman in the SEC. So it wouldn't shock me to see Manny Nunnery out there. Jaden Robinson just finished his freshman season. He can still play this year. He's got that bit of experience, and he's still plenty young. I mean, same class as Pup Howard. And we're like, oh, Pup Howard's so young. So is Jaden Robinson. So I think it's a huge add for a class and a defense that desperately needed some help. But thanks for joining me for an unexpected almost 20 minutes of bonus content with Locked On Gators. But thank you so much. Never going to get old to have just people taking time out of their day completely unannounced. But thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen or second listen of the day. Every day we'll be back maybe later, maybe tomorrow with more Florida Gators football. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Whole Nine Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33. And as always, I will see you all next time.